Hello everybody and welcome to Dear Jill. If you're listening to us on the day we're released, it's Tuesday. Happy Tuesday. And if you're not, it's just another day in paradise, isn't it?
I guess so. It is when we're in this lovely studio together.
Yes, I love it here actually.
It's lovely. It's
Yeah.
lovely. Well, Jill, I thought I'll start right today because I know last week on the show we had your lovely niece Chelsea on.
We did.
As a little surprise.
It was a big surprise actually.
And I feel like this whole podcast, or maybe a few episodes, has maybe dribbled into a lot about your feet.
Oh. What is wrong with my feet now?
Nothing's wrong with your feet. In fact, your feet is really good and a really good marketing tool. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So
okay.
I've got you a little gift, and I promise this isn't a gift that I've re-gifted from Christmas.
Okay, so this is brand new.
Brand new. As I get in the
she's
bag,
getting it out of
okay,
bag.
and pass it
Getting
to
out
you.
of tote.
Da, 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 da.
Oh!
I thought we could have some
I
slippers.
love them. Now, what do you think my rating would go up or down to? Oh my God, look.
Look at them bad boys.
I love them. What do you think?
I think, it doesn't even look out of place.
What about like this?
So, yeah.
As much as I love them and they're dead comfy, I don't think I could seriously answer people's questions in these because they might feel like I'm not taking it seriously and I wouldn't want that. But these are going on my feet as soon as I get home.
Well, I thought to not be left out. I've also got
Have
a
you?
pair, but I've got just
What have you got?
I've just got the minging pair from home. To be fair, which have my cat on.
Oh, what's your cat called?
Delia.
Delia.
There she is. But
Are you not going to put them on them?
I can. My feet aren't
You
on
should,
camera.
yeah, I think you should get Delia on your feet.
Come on, Delia.
I love slippers. I've got about 4 pairs at home. Because the thing about slippers is I like wearing them, but do you do this? My feet get a bit hot, so I'm constantly taking them on and off. So I like to leave slippers in all the different rooms in my house. So when I just walk into a different room, I'm like, oh, there's a pair. So I'm just constantly swapping them around.
Nice. And do they match the room? Do you know which ones live in which room?
I'm not like I'm just they're just slippers. Yeah, I just like having stuff on my feet. Whereas my sister, my elder sister, she likes wearing bare feet all the time.
Okay.
She hates anything on her feet. As soon as she walks in the house, she takes her shoes and her socks off.
So there's my little gift for you. Because obviously you got me the lovely advent calendar. I thought we'll only keep with the toe theme.
I love my gift. Thank you so much.
You're very much welcome.
That's really nice. Thank you for thinking of me.
It's very much welcome. And I hope that they are a nice little find in the house when people go, hang on.
Yeah.
I've seen these before.
When I answer the door to the delivery guy and he's like,
are they 5-star feet?
yeah, I know what you're thinking.
Underneath
5
they
out
are.
of 5.
Right, let's get into it then, shall we, Jill?
Okay, let's do it.
Dear Jill, hello, my name is Mel, and my dilemma is that I recently heard back from a job that I applied to a few months ago. It is a job that is in a different city to the one I currently live, and I have friends and family here and a great community here. They are really interested in me and they want me for the position, and I'm really excited as I will literally describe this as my dream job. Opportunities like this don't happen often, so I just jumped in the deep end and applied, and I honestly didn't think I would get it. But now they want me for the role. What should I do? It is not really possible for me to commute back and forth, and it would mean sort of leaving the city and everything I've built here for this job. But then again, it is a role I really enjoy and love. Thank you.
Well, first of all, Mel, congratulations. That's amazing. You've got offered your dream job. You know, I'm a massive believer in taking risks. I think, and I don't even actually see this as a huge risk. I see it as an opportunity that's presented itself to you. Something that career-wise you really, really want and really excites you. Not ideal situations, of course, a city that you don't know anything about and a place where you don't know anybody. But there's always opportunity to get to know people. There's always opportunity to build a new life somewhere. And the thing is, this is not an irreversible situation. You go, you do the job. You give it, I would say, at least 6 months, but I would say I would go for a year just to bed things in. If you hate it, you come back and you get another job back in the city that you enjoy and surrounded by your family and friends. But I think it's always worth just being brave, just sort of jumping off the precipice and just thinking, what is the worst that can happen? For me, something like that would be something that would stay with you for the rest of your life. And you'd think, I wonder what would have happened if I'd have taken that job. I wonder what my life would have looked like now. And I would rather not have to have that question, and I would rather experience it and see if it worked for me or not, and then backtrack and go back to, what I had before, than never know. So yes, I would take the plunge. Why not? What would you do, Emma?
I'm a home bird and you know it. No, if it's the dream, you've got to do it if it's the dream.
I mean, would you have applied for a job like that in the first place? Because you're a home bird, would you do that? Would you apply for something knowing that it could bring conflict?
Yeah, if it is the dream. Again, if it's the dream, it's meant to be, and what will be will. If you don't like it, you can always come home.
Yeah, and I think like when something feels like, as she described it, like a dream job, then there must be something that's taking you there, that's pulling you towards that. And I would be very curious as to why I was being pulled towards there and what it had to offer and what I could learn from it. So, yeah, you don't want to have regrets.
Never.
You don't want to think about what could have been and, what might have been. Go for it.
Absolutely.
Be brave.
I know we've talked a lot on this podcast about like your moving about and you obviously getting jobs and going for it, but the interesting thing that Mel says, obviously, like she's leaving her little crew, her little community. Have you ever felt like the leaving is hard, like
always
what you leave behind?
Yeah, I've always felt like that. Like I've never, even though I've moved around and even though I've worked in lots of different places, I've never felt like it was easy. I've just felt like the need to do the thing I want to do was bigger than the sadness of having to leave the friends and the family. But yeah, I've always found it hard because actually I like home as well. I love being with my family and the friends that I sort of went to dancing school with. They're a real comfort to me, but my dream and my career was also a real pull for me. So you just have to maneuver, don't you? And you have to just work out what works for you at what phase in your life and when you've had enough and when you want to change the balance a little bit. And I think it's just never be afraid to just give something a try, because I would say most things are reversible. It's like when people get really frightened about buying houses, and yeah, it's an expensive business, I know, when you buy a house, but if you hated it and you absolutely regretted the decision, you just put it up for sale. Just do it.
Just do it. There we go. Right, let's get to our next one, who is Raymond.
Dear Jill, how are you? I lost my wife 6 years ago after 34 years of marriage. She saw me through cancer and we lost 2 baby boys. On the 1st of December, it would be our 40th anniversary and I'm struggling. I've struggled so much since my wife passed. We were soulmates and did everything together. I just want to be with her. Her name was Marissa. I'm Raymond. I don't know how to live without her. I'm sorry if this is too deep for you. Sending positivity and love to you.
Well, Raymond, it definitely isn't too deep for me, and you should never be sorry for saying how you feel. And I'm so very sorry for your situation and for you losing your beautiful soulmate, Marissa. You said you can't live without her, but you are, because you're here now and you're talking to me. So that's not true. But I do know the feeling, a feeling like you can't. Because we don't want to, right? We don't want to think of a world that doesn't have that person in it. It's too painful. It seems unfair. It's just intolerable. That's certainly how I felt. I just thought, why? Why do I even want to imagine? And in some ways, and I have spoke about this before, in some ways, telling ourselves that we can't exist in a world without that person, I think makes us stay very loyal to that person. We feel like that's the strength of our love, that it's pointless. A world without them is pointless. But I feel very, very, very sure that that's not how she feels. I feel very sure that she believes that you can go on to have a life that feels different, but fulfilling and loving and full of happiness and full of joy. But you have to allow that in. And at the minute, I can tell that you're not ready to allow it in. You're not ready to accept the love and the joy and the happiness, because you've still got a lot of grieving to do and a lot of processing to do. And I was listening to something this morning, actually, because I talk about processing a lot in my book. And, some people say to me, but what is processing, or what do you mean when you say that? And I guess it's two things, really. Processing is like just allowing yourself to feel what you're feeling. And if that is anger, rage, sadness, bereft, whatever it is you feel it. Allow your body to feel that emotion. Don't be scared of it. Don't try and stay in control of it. Just try and feel it. I know that's easier said than done, but that's definitely part of it. When I'm feeling a certain way about the loss of my partner, I try and ask very specific questions about why I'm feeling that way. So the processing would go something like, I just really miss him today. I feel really, really sad. Okay, what exactly are you missing about him today? What exactly is it? And I could think, I don't know, the way he thought about life. His take on things always seemed so unique and so interesting. Okay. Yeah, well, that's, of course you're going to miss that. That's exciting. That's interesting. And it sounds really obvious, but it just becomes a way that I can feel okay about the way that I'm feeling. It's like, of course you're going to miss that person. Of course they will be forever with you in your heart. But I really, truly don't believe that that's the only person you can ever be happy with. And I really believe that Marissa, of all people, would also not want that for you either. This weekend was the anniversary of my partner's death. The weekend just gone, sorry. I knew it was going to be hard, because they always are. So I purposely arranged some really nice things. Like my partner, who I have now, who is so lovely, said to me, what do you want to do? What shall we do? What kind of things would he like to have done? So I filled the weekend with really nourishing things, and we did walks, we did lovely breakfasts, we did cinema, we went to a restaurant, I spent time with family. There were really simple things, but they filled me up. I honestly felt really loved and really safe. And then I woke up on Monday and I felt really sad, like really sad. And I thought, but what does that all mean? I've had a lovely weekend. I sort of thought I'd got away with it, basically. And I woke up on Monday, oh no. And it's like, you know what? We're always going to have these waves of emotion about the people we've lost. They're always going to be coming in and out of our lives like this, but keep allowing it to do it. Keep allowing the waves to go in and out. Keep processing, keep crying, keep talking. Thank you so much for even leaving a voice note for me today and just saying it out loud. But just know that you are allowed to be happy again. There is another option. It's not your first one, I know. It's option B. And I'm now living my option B. And you know what? Option B it's pretty bloody good. I'm actually genuinely really happy with where my life's at. And I wish that for you. But if option A has been taken away, don't think that your life has then been taken away with it. There are other There are other paths to walk, and you just have to give yourself permission to walk that path. And I know for a fact your wife will be walking alongside you on it. So I wish you all the best.
Thanks for sharing that, Jill. And you are okay after the weekend?
Yeah, it's so strange the way dates are funny things. You know, someone's dead every day. So why should the day they died be the worst day? It is a bit of a crazy notion. And yet they can be really, really difficult. And because I'd had such a lovely weekend, and I just felt so loved and just so fulfilled, and it was lovely. And then the sort of crash came on the Monday, and then I just thought to myself, but that's legitimate. It's fine. It's of course, like, this will be like a lifelong thing for me. There will be days where the loss of my partner will just overwhelm me. And there'll be other days where I think, I actually feel really great and I'm so excited and I feel so happy. So it's about real acceptance that you live alongside this feeling, that you don't get rid of it, that it's a constant process and it will be lifelong. But that's okay, because you know what? It just makes you remember and love and cherish all the people that you do have. And I read this lovely quote that I won't be able to remember exactly, but it was by, have you heard of the poet Rumi? He said, like, good times don't just come to us. You have to meet them halfway. And that was, without knowing kind of what I'd done and what I was helped to do with my partner. He was like, let's actually plan some really, really nice things. So even if you feel terrible, we're still going to do the really nice things. But actually, you might do the really nice things and feel all right. I think it's just a way to look at it, to not feel like you have to stay in some sort of weird punishment. Well, this is the day, so I have to be really sad today.
Can't smile, can't do anything.
Yeah. Who says? Because there'll be plenty of other days where it will just, hit you on the back of the head like a brick, and you'll think, where did that come from? So take the joy, take the moments, take the happiness when it's with you, because the sadness will always be there as well.
Dear Jill, my name is Aaron and I hope you can help me and my wife Ali with our dilemma. A bit of background. Last summer we were caught in a riptide in Australia and nearly didn't come back. We saved ourselves by swimming on our backs and kicking our way alongside the shore until we were out of that rip and found ourselves back on the beach. We were so relieved to escape with our lives. It made us both appreciate how dangerous the ocean can be. So fast forward to January, where we went for a short break to Gran Canaria. We thought we'd try something out of our comfort zone, so we signed up for a scuba diving session. We followed the instructions, put the gear on, were guided by instructors, but after a little bit of orientation in the sea, we both bottled it. And we didn't do the dive, so we sat in the boat as the rest of our party swam under the sea. So this is where our dilemma lies. We were wondering if you had any advice to help us get back on the horse, or the seahorse in this case. Thank you for your time, Aaron and Ali.
It's so weird that you've come to me to talk about this, because I actually have a massive fear of like riptides. So I live by the sea and I don't swim in it a lot at all. I dip in it. But I know how powerful nature is, and I know how unforgiving the sea is, and how unbelievably terrifying that must have been that you and your wife got caught in that. And another weird thing that you've said is that I consider myself to be like a fairly adventurous person. I haven't actually done a bungee jump, but it's not because I wouldn't. I would do one. I would skydive. I'd kind of just do all of those things that don't really bother me that I haven't done them, but they don't scare me either. However, scuba diving? I don't know what it is. So I did the same as you. I went on one of these courses on my honeymoon years ago. The guy was really nice. I was super excited. Honestly, didn't think anything of it, because to be honest, it's not like, well, I didn't think it was frightening in any way. And we went down to like the shallowest dive you can do, whatever that was. And even though I did it, I almost hated every moment and I was panicking. And I was so glad when it finished. And I've never done it again. I beat myself up over that. I was like, oh, Jill, scuba diving's fantastic. Everybody talks about it. It's brilliant. Just go for it. Just enjoy it. Just break through the fear. Now, that is definitely an option. I've never tried it again. I've never sort of like studied it or done my PADI. I think that's what it's called. But then there's another part of me now, and it may be just because I'm older, that I think, but why? You don't have to do it. I don't honestly, genuinely feel like I'm missing out madly on life because I don't scuba dive every time I go to somewhere where that option's available to me. So there's, of course, like an option for you and your wife to go and get some kind of therapy or some CBT to just get over the fear of what you went through in the riptide and then hopefully help you on to the scuba diving. And then there's another train of thought that's like, why don't you just book a different type of like adventure on your holiday? Why don't you just do something that isn't going to scare you and that you're both going to love? It's really strange the way we beat ourselves up over not being able to do something. And I'm so like that. And it's only I would honestly say the last couple of years of my life that I've thought, oh, there's another option here. I could just not do it. But I mean, if scuba diving is really important to you, you could try and overcome it with therapy. But if not, I don't know, go on a wine tour instead. Do you know what I mean? Eat some food. Do you know what I mean? Honestly, there's so many wonderful things to do in life. But have you had any experiences like that? Are you a daredevil or?
I'm very much a daredevil. I do scuba dive.
Yeah.
Best thing I've ever done.
Right.
But yeah, I like the fact that you think, oh, I have to get over this thing. But really, do I care?
Yeah.
Probably not. You
yeah.
know?
And that's exactly where I've got to in my head. Like, do I care enough to want to push through it for what? Because I think there's something about me, especially when I was younger, where I felt like every fear had to be overcome and had to be conquered because that like kept me safe, maybe. It made me feel like more powerful within myself. Whereas now I'm like, no, I'm scared of that. I'm good with that.
I'm okay.
Yeah, I'm okay with being scared of that. I think that's a really interesting dilemma, though. Hello, Rich. It's Jill.
Hiya, Jill.
How you doing?
Yeah, I'm okay, thank you.
Yeah, have you got a question for me today?
So I was in a relationship for about 20 odd years. We broke up about 4 years ago, around about the start of COVID time. COVID came, went, didn't really feel anything or anything, just other than sort of, the sadness of the relationship ending. But a colleague of mine noticed that I'd been lower than usual. They'd recommended that I go and speak to someone just to find out if everything was okay. I personally thought it was just a case of, COVID had come and changed the world, basically. It turned out that I'd been in an emotionally coercive relationship for actually 20 odd years. And the therapist was great, helped me through a lot of things that I didn't realise was happening. I'd cut off a lot of friends, family, most of my interests, because I thought that's what you did in a relationship. About a year or so ago, I started seeing someone. We met online, but as we were the relationship was developing after a few months, I started pushing her away. Something in the back of my mind just started thinking, I don't know, I don't want you to get close to me. I don't want you to love me. And I don't think I can love you in the way you want me to love you. And over time, I've realised that I don't think I could fall in love again. And I don't think I could let myself be loved. I know it sounds a bit daft. That's just how I feel. And it scares me. It really, really has sort of shaken me quite a lot. And I don't know. It's hard to see a future. It's hard to see a future for me, not being on my own, basically. And I was just wondering, is there anything you could say, anything kind of advice you could give me that I don't know.
Oh,
Can you help me see through that?
do you know what? I'm so sorry for everything you've been through, and none of that what you've said sounds stupid, by the way, at all. I completely understand what you're saying. I think one of the things about being in a relationship like you've just described is that the person on the receiving end of that behavior, I think, in the aftermath, loses all trust of themselves and of who they are, because they can't quite believe that they relinquished that much of themselves and almost like abandoned who they were in that relationship and let that person control them. And I think that what is then really hard is that new people are coming into your life, people who, like you say, seem really nice and seem to be falling for you and want to be with you. And your brain is saying to you, yeah, but, my last partner seemed really nice at first. What if they're pulling the wool over my eyes as well? What if they're lying to me? And I think the work that you would want to do and the things that you need to question is like about the trust that you have in yourself. Like, you already, that relationship that you had that seemed so traumatic, you're not in that anymore. And you can see clearly now what that was. And like you say, you've worked with a therapist. And I think you have to give yourself like real props for not only recognizing what that was, but also the fact that you've went and worked through it with someone that's incredibly brave. It's very shameful when you've been in a relationship where you feel like you have abandoned parts of yourself for that other person, because it doesn't feel like you recognize who you are. But I think you need to put more faith and trust in yourself that, having experienced what you've experienced, you now have boundaries and you now would be able to put things in place. So if somebody new comes into your life and they start to say something like, I don't want you seeing your friends at the weekend, or why are you on the phone to your mum so much, or why are you staying late at work? You would say, okay, first, why are you asking me that question? And secondly, I don't like it, and these are the reasons why, and I will never change those parts of myself for another person. I think it's really about you deciding what your boundaries are, what you're really, really comfortable with, and also probably having to be very honest. And I know it's really vulnerable, but being really honest with a new person and saying, look, this was how my relationship was last time. And these are the sort of scars that I carry from that relationship. And as much as I don't want to bring it into our relationship, and this is new and you're not that person, I am now experiencing love in a different way. And actually, falling in love makes me really frightened, because falling in love makes me think that I could potentially lose myself again. And I think,
Yeah.
does that ring true or make any sense when I say that?
Yeah, it does actually. It's actually nice to hear, to be honest.
Because you are so much more than that one relationship. And you are so worthy of being loved again. And I would never want you to not let someone in for fear of that person being like your previous partner. You just have to know for sure and keep checking in, either with a therapist or with someone you really trust. And you have to say, these are my boundaries and these are what I feel comfortable with. So if I ever call you up and I say something to the contrary of that, I'm giving you permission to say, you said you wouldn't be comfortable with that, or do you know that you said that that's not what you want to do? So it's like having somebody to be accountable to if you don't feel like you can fully trust yourself. But I really hear what you're saying, and I know what it feels like to not feel like you can fully trust yourself, because you look back on past behavior and think, I'm not sure how I allowed that to happen. So
Yeah.
it's really all about you building up a world for yourself that feels safe and feels boundaried, so that when you let people in, like you say, you don't want to keep pushing people away, and you totally deserve love, and you absolutely deserve to be as happy as possible. But you're also allowed to say, but these are the things that I need in order to feel truly safe. And then as the years go by, maybe some of those sort of barriers come more down, but somebody has to understand that that's what you've been through. But don't think that you're not worthy, or don't think that you have to be on your own. Hey, listen, you can choose to be on your own if you want to, but I don't want you to think that because of something that's happened. That would be sad. And then see if you can get to a point where you actually feel excited about new love rather than frightened.
Thank you, because like I said, it feels quite nice hearing it from somebody else's voice rather than me trying to tell myself that.
I know, it's so hard, but I really get this as well, because it's really, especially when you've been in that situation, there's a lot of, I think, self-flagellation and shame. Can't believe I did that. Can't believe I allowed myself to do that. That's so ridiculous of me. And then you start to kind of stop opening up to other people and try and manage it all on your own. But we all need other people. Like none of us can go through this life. So I'm so glad that you called and you're chatting to me now. And I would love for you to reach out to other people that you trust as well. And yeah, just hopefully, get to a point where you can have people in your life and feel okay about it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's nice to hear somebody else kind of tell me not what I want to hear, but tell me what I need to hear. That's not my own voice trying to tell me that.
Yeah.
After so long, you start telling yourself to shut up.
I know. You're so
Thank
unkind to yourself, aren't you? You're the most you'll never be as unkind to other people as you are to yourself. That's a fact. And I think especially shame plays a massive part in that. You tend to sort of what I call shit talk yourself. You really, really talk yourself down, and no, you don't deserve that. You don't deserve to talk to yourself like that. So yeah, reach out, get some more help. And then call us back when you're in if you feel like it, if you're in a better place, and let us know how you're getting on.
I might hold you to that, and you might regret that.
Thanks so much. Thank you. Cheers.
Thank you.
All right. Bye. Oh man, that's so hard, isn't it?
It is. But good advice.
Yeah.
And that thing of you're always hard on yourself. You're never as hard as anybody. If someone tripped me like I tripped myself, my goodness.
You imagine the things you say to yourself.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I can even I even it could be something as stupid like I'm putting my socks on and I miss my foot, and sometimes I'll hear myself go, "Stupid cow." Like, who said that? What, you've just missed your foot? What is wrong?
Yeah.
That is so mean.
Mm-hmm.
So, if that can be me putting a sock on, you can imagine where my mind goes when it comes to something that I feel very passionate about. So yeah, the shit talking is really, really cruel. Thank you so much for everybody that called in today. If you're feeling stuck, frightened, worried, or you just have a weird, odd question in your head, then do get in touch with us at Dear Jill. Get on our Instagram page and leave a voice note if you can. And really look forward to hearing from you. Thank you.